Welcome back. It doesn't get talked about much, but it's jolly well going to now. Every year, nearly 400 men in the UK are diagnosed with breast cancer. One of those men is James Richards. He's here with me. He found a lump. He was only 36 years old. He's had a hell of a year with chemo and everything else. So tell me, you founded an organisation called Moobs, and we know that stands for man boobs. We get that. And obviously you've decided that part of this is going to be you helping other blokes.
Yes, that's exactly right. I think one of the things that during my journey that I kind of realised is that there seems to be a lack of awareness around men, generally around breast cancer. And I think me, myself, you know, I didn't realise that men could get breast cancer. Mm-hmm. And it was very fortunate that a friend of mine called Tony Roebuck, actually, he had a scare himself. And fortunately, it turned out to be benign. But, you know, even then, it took me about 4 or 5 weeks before I booked an appointment. And then I kind of realised that when it comes to the awareness side of things, it's really a question of language. But not just the language, the iconography as well, that kind of needs to be challenged. Mm-hmm. You know, I think, you know, you sort of think breast cancer, you think, you know,
pink
that's
ribbon, that's the girls.
And that's women's disease. It doesn't really affect me. So I think a big part of it is sort of challenging that and saying, you know, men can get breast cancer and you should check.
Absolutely. And you happened to find it by absolute sheer coincidence. You were just doing that manly thing of sitting in this position. I don't know if the camera can see me, but like clutching a boob on each side, just because that's how you happen to be sitting. And you felt something. You weren't looking for it. You just happened to find it. No,
that's exactly right. And I think, you know, as I said, it was fortunate that someone had told me that, because I wouldn't have thought much of it. I think for me, you know, it was January. A lot of people were sort of, you know, having that health kick in January, you know, going to the gym, which is what I was doing, losing that holiday weight. And I thought I'd overexerted. And but fortunately, as I said, I went to the GP and then they referred me. But I think, you know, even at that point, they're both sort of, I didn't really fit into that category of someone who would get that.
No.
But I think that's kind of a big part of the problem. And I think with the awareness side, you know, the mortality rate in men is 90% higher than that of women. And, you know, you can sort of take an educated guess that that's probably because people are unaware of it, and, you know, the anecdotal evidence that men don't go to the doctors. Mm-hmm. But, you know, it's just very fortunate that we kind of went there.
It hasn't been easy, though. You've had a really pretty gruelling chemo and it's going on, and it's all just a pretty big deal, really, isn't it?
Exactly.
And thank goodness you found it and you've embarked on the right course of treatment to, you know, stay alive and be healthy and have a fantastically long time enjoying whatever's going on that you can enjoy. But it really is important for blokes to realise it could be them.
Yeah.
Very important. So what do people need to... I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll speak to someone who knows even more about this than you do, and that's Liz O'Riordan, a breast surgeon, also breast cancer survivor. Liz, it is incredibly important, isn't it, for chaps to stand up and say, you know, it could be us, could be us.
It really is. Every man has a small amount of breast tissue behind the nipple, and 1% of breast cancer cases are men. So it's really important to check. Normally, you do find a small lump behind the nipple, but the nipple can be pulled in, or you may see a rash or some bloody discharge. And I think men have a worse outcome because they don't know it's breast cancer, so they're late going to the GPs. And a lot of junior doctors might not realise that men can get breast cancer too.
I remember going to, used to be Breast Cancer Care, the charity, and they have every year they probably still do, a fabulous fashion show, and all of the models are survivors of breast cancer, showing you live, you know, vibrant, beautiful, exciting, and all that kind of thing. Very life-affirming, amazing event. But there are always men in it too, and the men are also survivors of breast cancer. That's why they're there, and that's a very kind of visual evocation of the fact that it's not only women. I thank you both very much indeed for joining in this conversation, and I just hope that people watching realise and take the necessary measures, because very important to go to the doctor, Liz, whether you're a bloke or not, right?
Yeah, we will always see you and refer you in. And it's uncomfortable being a man in a woman's room, as James will know, but we're used to looking after men and we will sort you out.
All right, thank you very much indeed. Thanks for coming in. Lots of love, lots of luck to you. Coming up after